What's up, everybody? This is the Mind Hiking Podcast, and I am your host, Brody Frye. Today's going to be a short, sweet bonus episode. It's going to be short, but it's going to be dense. So we're going to be discussing change in your life and overcoming obstacles. So stay tuned. Hey, everyone, it's Brody Frye, and here we dive deep into difficult questions. We'll map out thoughts, theories, and crazy ideas for the love of knowledge and growth. So, how do we answer some of the mind's toughest questions? This is the Mind Hiking Podcast. All right, guys, let's talk change. So, I feel like this is something that a lot of people fear. There's like that emotional fear side to change, and it's just interesting how that emotion arises when something happens, or especially when it comes to obstacles, but just change in general. And even if it's like a good change as well, like if you have an opportunity or something in front of you, that change is a good change, and it still brings that emotion of fear. It's just funny how we naturally find ourselves being fearful of change. Our minds and our bodies want to keep us comfortable. It's not trying to push us along. Our minds and bodies aren't trying to drive us along. We're using them to drive along, but naturally we kind of settle in this, idle, this coasting, because it's comfortable. But change and growth is so crucial. You always want to be moving forward, moving towards something, but it's difficult when you got this emotion in the way, this fear that kind of comes up. And when you're, and for others too, you find this doesn't happen, where sometimes I found even myself, like day in and day out, going through life and not knowing what to do, what exactly I'm supposed to be doing, or what, where should I be going, what should I be doing, kind of thing. And there is those like rest periods in your life where there's not much going on and you're not sure if you're doing something wrong or what you should be doing. And those times, just absorb it, just take it in. It's like your happiness is directly linked to your ability to sit in the unknown. And that's bliss. To be able to sit where it's uncomfortable and be okay with it. And that's the best way. I mean, we could just end this here. That's the best way. That's the key to overcoming obstacles. And it still doesn't quite eliminate fear, but if you can suppress that fear or just control it. You don't necessarily want to suppress emotions, but a better word would just be to be able to control it and validate it and know it's there and sit with it and be okay with it. And that's the best way to overcome obstacles and be happy. And that's kind of like a blanket umbrella kind of explanation, but that's still a good, solid explanation. But going back to periods of your life where you feel like not much is happening, you're not seeing opportunities arise, but you're wondering if you're doing the right thing or not, and you feel like you're just kind of coasting through life, you do want to soak that in, because that's not going to happen often, especially if you're a go-getter. But when that happens, a good way to tell what, your intuition or what your gut really thinks you should be doing, a good way to feel that is notice your emotions, notice what is uncomfortable, and go through your day. And when you have these thoughts or emotions and something feels something feels off, or this is a tricky subject because it's all up for interpretation, and it's all up to each individual's take on it, and you know what's best for you because you know your emotions, you know your feelings, and you know what you've been through. So nobody's going to be able to interpret your feelings better than you. But with that said, if you're going through your life and you find yourself out of energy or exhausted all the time or mentally drained, and you get plenty of sleep and nothing's specifically wrong, that's probably a clear sign that you're not doing the right thing. You're not living up to that full potential. There's more that you could and should be doing with your life. And if you're in a spot like that, just notice through your day. When you see that, that doesn't mean you have to make a change right away, but just start paying attention to specific details and things, and notice what makes you feel drained. Notice your reactions to certain scenarios when things happen through your day or tasks arise that you have to do. Notice how you feel. Notice your first words that come to your mind, because words are super important with this. How do you describe situations? In moments where things happen, what do you say to yourself? Do you mumble words under your breath or something? Could be good words, could be bad words, but pay attention either way. Notice what you're saying, because words are powerful, because you're putting those words in your head as well. But take all that in, absorb all of that, and notice it. And then if you can notice this, you should be able to notice something good as well. If you notice something negative, you should be able to notice positive feelings as well. So you got to establish this contrast. So when you find something that makes you feel good, there's a difference between that dopamine dump where it's like immediate gratification makes you want to do it again or whatever, but there's that serotonin, like you're happy, but you don't want more. It's like, what makes you feel satisfied? Like where can you sit that's good? You notice things that you want to do. And that's obviously going to vary for many different people, but essentially what I'm trying to get across here is when you're in that coasting period of your life, just pay attention to your emotions and your feelings, and you'll be able to establish guidelines like bumpers in a bowling alley or rumble strips on a road. You hit a rumble strip and your steering wheel shakes and the car starts humming and you're like, oh shit, and then you can swerve back into the lane. But it's like basically establishing these guidelines, and you're bringing awareness to it. And the reason why this is so important is because, majority of people are going through their day and, just living day in, day out. And this is where you get like the people stuck in the 9 to 5 until they retire, and they look back on their lives and just think like, what did I just do? Kind of thing. You don't, if you really think about this, the majority of the times you feel regret, and again, this is up for interpretation, could be different for each individual person, but the majority of regret isn't from things that you did, it's from things that you didn't do. At least for me, when I look back, the regrets that stand out the largest to me are things that I had an opportunity to do and I didn't do it, or I feel like I should have done this, or, I feel bad for situations that I was put in with previous friends or relatives, family members, and I feel like I should have done something, or I could have done more and I didn't. Things like that. And it could be just as simple as like something as small as, if you're out in public and you make eye contact with somebody, but you're having a bad day and you just look away and you could see out of the corner of your eye right as you're looking away, they smile at you. And then you instantly feel like, at least for me, I feel like this huge regret where I'm like, "Ugh, no, I feel like a dick just because I was having a bad day and I didn't smile at this person. I could have. So that's like where regret happens for me the most, at least. Now the other side of regret is tough too because it's it's unknown and it's like you get those fearful thoughts, and especially when you're talking about opportunity. Like if you're presented with an opportunity, zoom yourself forward a little bit and think, will you regret this? That's kind of a little cheat, I guess. But and that doesn't always work either because sometimes it's just hard to tell and you don't really have enough information. But say for a quick example, you do have enough information and it's an opportunity that you want to do or take, and or it's an idea that you've had that you want to act on, that you've waited long enough and you're sure this is going to be a better opportunity, but there's risk and you're scared. That's where the fear comes in. You're afraid to jump on this opportunity because it's going to be change. It's a change in your life that you're afraid of, because I'm going to steal example from myself here, but the rumble strips or the bowling alley bumpers, like say the rumble strips, like you make a change in your life. You take a risk, you take a chance and you go for it. An opportunity that you want, you've felt these feelings for long enough. You know that you feel good when you think about this. It's that peaceful feeling where this is what you want to do, but that fear still comes up because your first thought is that happiness, like this is what I want. You get excited, and then the fear starts setting in, and you start talking yourself down, like no, 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 no. Don't be realistic, and that's the voice you don't want to listen to. But use that fear as a tool. When you have a good feeling, and then it's immediately followed by fearful thoughts, that's a good sign because that means that you hit something. That means that you're onto something. That means that you're going in the right direction. Feel these emotions. Find that thing that makes you happy, but you immediately start talking yourself down because that's where you're supposed to be. You want to pursue that because your subconscious is trying to tell you this with your emotions, but then your conscious self is just suppressing, and then that makes for this mundane, dull life, and that's where the regret happens. So basically, you find what makes you happy, and if you find that fearful thought after, that's because there's a risk, and your conscious self is just trying to keep you safe by keeping you comfortable, because any change is unknown and it's not comfortable. It's scary. And that's why it's so crucial to be able to control those emotions and know they're there. You got to be able to feel them and be able to validate your own feelings and know that it's okay. And once you get to that point, then you can start seeing this full picture. Just start watching your emotions and paying attention to the way you're feeling. And if you find any switches like that, if you find, especially if it's a happy feeling first and then it goes into fear, then that's most likely something that you should probably pursue. And you feel that fear and you start talking yourself down or talking yourself out of it, notice that and lean into it. That's good. That's where change happens. That's where growth happens. You need to get through that tough time. It's most of the time it's just a mental barrier. And well, actually 100% of the time it's a mental barrier, because if you truly wanted it, you would find a way. I mean, it really is as simple as if there's a will, there's a way. So many people are so creative and just can figure stuff out, and we all are unique and can bring things to the table, and and figure things out. And if you can't come up with an idea yourself, maybe talk to a friend, talk to a trusted friend or relative, and see what you guys can come up with together to solve a problem together. Don't be afraid to lean into the rumble strip a little bit, the rumble strip of life, because that's where growth happens. That's where expansion happens. That's where we lose our potential or future regrets. You lean into those rumble strips or bumpers, or you lean into that fear. You push that boundary. You just continue past where you're told you're supposed to be. And that's where the regret would have been, but you're you, and you're not going to let signs or bumpers or what everybody else says keep you from reaching your goals and doing what you were meant to do. All right, everybody. I think that was a short, sweet, good one. That was a lot of fun, as always. I really enjoy doing this. Thank you guys so much for tuning into another Wednesday bonus episode. I really appreciate each and every one of you for listening. It really means a lot. I really have fun with this. So thank you guys so much, and have a great rest of your Wednesday. Peace.